Oh, hi. I'm Jaye Wells. Um, I have some exciting news for you. I know you've all read, hold on, Redheaded Stepchild. And guess what? This week, pow, the Mage in Black comes out. Oh my gosh, can you believe it? It's out. Actually, it's already in some stores, I hear. But if you can't find it in your local store, it will probably be in by Thursday because that's the official release date, April 1st. And to celebrate this momentous occasion, Rachel asked me to come on and do a virtual reading for you guys. Now, I should tell you that the first chapter of this book is available at Orbit's website. That's my publisher, and their website is www.orbitbooks.net. And if you just search for me, it should pop up. And since it's online, I figured, well, I'm not going to read that. I'm going to read something else. And specifically, what I'm going to read is a scene from chapter 5. Yeah, that far in. Like, I'm totally sharing stuff. And you don't really have to know a lot to understand this scene of what's already happened. Except there's a surprise. You guys thought you knew all the dark races that were in this series, but you were wrong. There's more that you didn't know about, and you're going to find out what it is now. I should also tell you that I'm giving away a $25 Barnes & Noble gift card to one lucky commenter. With that card, you can buy both books in the series if you haven't already read Redheaded Stepchild, or you can buy Mage in Black and another awesome urban fantasy. And in comments, if you want, I'll give you some recommendations because there are some really good ones out right now, besides mine. So I thought I'd get to reading, and then in comments, I am here. So ask me your questions. I really have no shame, so I probably would answer anything. I'm not saying it would be honest, because, I mean, I kind of lie for a living, so you can't really trust my answers, but there will be answers. I'm just saying. Okay, here we go. Chapter 5. The Mage in Black. Here we go. Thus far, the food in New York left a lot to be desired. Granted, I'd only been in the city for 4 hours, but back in California, none of my meals ever bit back. Ouch! I reared back and checked to be sure my ear was still attached. My meal stared back with glittering eyes, black in the dim light. He had a few days' worth of scruff, and a diamond stud glinted from beneath greasy black hair. Fuck you, bitch. His attitude and his blood left a bitter taste in my mouth. Frustrated and too tired to deal with this shit, I pushed him away. But instead of running like a normal person, he had the nerve to pull a gun on me. Seriously? I said. If I hadn't been so annoyed, I probably would have laughed. I think you better hand over the gun before you hurt yourself, or I do it for you. He pulled the trigger. The bullet ripped through the flesh just below my right collarbone. I might have been immune to the damage, but it fucking hurt. God damn it, I yelled, pressing a hand to my chest. Give me that thing. I jerked the gun out of his hands and threw it into a wooded area off the trail. His eyes widened and he stumbled back, mumbling prayers to the Virgin Mary. She can't help you now, I said menacingly. He tripped over his feet and ran into the night. I briefly considered giving chase, but decided it wasn't worth the effort. Despite the empty trails this time of night, Central Park still hummed with energy. In the tree line, dark shadows shifted in my peripheral vision. A screech came from overhead. I looked up to see Strix flying in tight circles over me. Go away, I grumbled, ignoring the owl. I trudged on through trails, hoping to find another meal. Not an hour ago, I was puking out my spleen, and now my body had to heal a gunshot wound. That meant blood had gone from being a want to being a need. The chill October air held the promise of rain. Under that, the city's sense of trash, exhaust, and humanity were muted and mixed with the smoky aroma of fallen leaves. I slowed my pace and took a deep lungful of air. Wincing, I pressed a hand against the chest wound. The hole was already closing. Entombing the bullet lodged there, a morbid souvenir of my first visit to the Big Apple. Needing a minute, I sat on a bench near the intersection of 3 trails. The famous Imagine mosaic, memorializing John Lennon, lay a few feet away. Someone had left an offering of red roses in the center of the circle. All around me, trees reached up toward the inky night sky, and just beyond, the spires of New York's cathedrals to the gods of commerce loomed. I'm not sure how long I sat there before the twig snapped behind me. Another. Someone, or something, wasn't worried about me knowing they were there. I stood slowly and started walking. They'd reveal themselves when they were ready, and I'd be ready for them. You picked the wrong woods tonight, Little Red Riding Hood. The voice came from behind me. I turned slowly, silently cursing myself for not bringing more weapons. 2 males stood on the path. From the corner of my eye, 2 others came from the tree line to stand behind me. 4-to-1 odds. Not too bad, I thought. "Can I help you?" I asked, keeping my tone conversational. Inside, my adrenaline kicked up a notch. A good fight would offer the perfect distraction from my troubles. The males I could see were shaggy and lean, with mean, thuggish faces. They reminded me of a pack of young, hungry wolves. Not a strand of red hair in the pack, so they weren't vampires. No telltale sandalwood scent, so they weren't mages. But they definitely weren't human. The leader laughed. His flunkies chuckled while casting uncertain looks at him. He strolled forward with the others skinning his back. His laugh cut off as quickly as it started. "You're poaching on our turf." "I'm sure I don't know what you mean." I crossed my arms, reaching inside my jacket for the knife hidden there. "By decree of the Shade, this here's our official hunting ground." "Who the fuck is the Shade?" I demanded. He raised a shaggy eyebrow. "The Shade's the law, and the law says anyone who poaches on our land deserves to be taught a lesson." "And who the fuck are you?" He put his arms out and snarled. "We're the lone wolves, bitch." Frickin' great, I thought. Werewolves. Just what I needed. That certainly explained the Oda-wet dog flying off the pack and nose-wrinkling waves. I'd never run into any wares in L.A., but I knew enough to recognize I just walked into a shitstorm. Again. I shifted my weight to the back foot. "The what?" "Lone wolves." He turned to show me the back of his raggedy jacket. Sure enough, a snarling wolf face stared back at me from the leather. "Wait a second," I said. "Isn't it supposed to be lone wolf? As in, one? If there's more than one, it kind of defeats the purpose of being lone, doesn't it?" The leader squinted hard, as if trying to follow my logic, but getting lost. "Shut up, bitch. Hold her, boys." Rough hands grabbed me from behind. I allowed them to do so. "Do you know who you're messing with?" I asked. Oh, this should be good. "My name is Sabina Kane," I said. I said this a tad more dramatically than I'd intended. "Is that supposed to mean something to me?" I opened my mouth to tell him what? That I used to be an assassin on the Domine's payroll? That I was, in fact, the granddaughter of the Alpha Domine? What good would it do me now? Even if that information meant something to the Wares, it wouldn't do me any favors. Hell, it might even convince them to turn me over to the Domine, who'd probably put a hefty price on my head by now. "No, I guess it shouldn't," I said. The reminder that my old life was gone hit me hard in the gut. Looked like I was the lone wolf now. But if these assholes thought I was going to lower my neck in submission, they had a nasty surprise coming. Ooh, werewolves! So there you have it. There's wares. Yes, there are wares. But there's lots of other fun stuff in this book. Some of you might have heard about some trouble Gagul gets himself into. I can't really give much away, but Demon Fight Club. Okay, I said it. Demon Fight Club. There's also some interesting people from Sabina's past that show up, and, more cussing and fighting and all the things that make my book family favorites. Really, you should read it to your 5-year-old. No, don't do that. Please don't do that. Anyway, I am here all day answering questions and chatting you up. So leave some comments and we'll have some fun. Thanks, guys. Bye.